Hi everyone, this is Angie Wong and I'm president of Legacy PAC. I just want to thank all of our followers. We're close to 100,000 followers on Facebook and we've only been around for a few short months. So thank you again. I'm going to ask you for your continued support leading up to 2024. Please donate to legacy-pac.org. That's legacy-pac.org. Thank you, and we'll see you on the campaign trail.
But I don't think he has the track record to prevail in the primary for the United States president's race. That's why us at Legacy PAC, or we at Legacy PAC, are supporting Donald Trump for the president in 2024.
We're sitting here too much. But you're going to do very well. And I just had somebody write down, first of all, James and Sarah Pritchard, thank you very much. Yes. Great job. Thank you. We appreciate all the help. Stanley and Donna Fitzgerald.
Right here, sir.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's great that you're with us. Mike Acton.
Hi, this is Stan Fitzgerald and Angie Wong with Veterans for Trump. We're here with our friend Victor AVILA, who is running for Congress in Texas. Good morning, Victor. How are you today?
Good morning. Doing good. Glad to be with you guys.
Glad you're here. So we have the pleasure of our national media rep joining us on this interview. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Angie.
Oh, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much. Well, first of all, Victor, I want to thank you for your service. Thank you for helping our country. And I think, let's get to the meat of it. I mean, everyone's watching this video because Veterans for Trump is offering their endorsement to your candidacy. You're running for Congress in Texas. Now, tell us why you're running, because I think a lot of audience members are new to you who are not in Texas. And so give us your bullet points of why you decided to run for the 2024 seat.
Well, the number one reason why I'm running is the passion that I have to secure our homeland. I've worked the U.S.-Mexico border all of my adult life. I'm born and raised in El Paso, Texas, on the border. I've worked at all different levels of the government in Texas, at the county, state, federal, as a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Special Agent under HSI, and also internationally as a U.S. diplomat in Mexico and abroad in Europe, representing our country. So I understand borders and I understand the imminent threats that we face when it comes to border security. But what I bring is an expanded vision of that border security. Yes, I'm a subject matter expert in human trafficking investigations. I've been there, I've done that. I've rescued the children, drug trafficking organizations, money laundering, anything you can imagine that has a nexus to the border. But I also understand the bigger implications of the open border system that we're experiencing today. And I'm talking about the threat from China, the threat from Venezuela, the threat from terrorism, and the national security threat and public safety, which is a big concern of mine. And so the reason I'm running for this district, District 23, which runs from San Antonio to El Paso, which is basically my backyard. I'm born and raised in El Paso. I even lived in San Antonio as a United States probation officer when I worked there back in the day. So I really understand the region, and the border is very unique. And sometimes it's hard to describe until you go there, because it is a unique territory. South Texas, very different than West Texas, the terrain, the river, and all these things. So I really understand that. But what I really want to bring to this position is integrity. And I really want to bring things back to fundamentals: life, liberty, and happiness. This is what I'm about. I'm about having the extension, being the extension of the community in Washington, D.C. I know it sounds fundamental, and it sounds kind of like at this point in the country, how we're facing things seems like kind of elementary, but I want to be that. I'm applying for this job to do the job. And one of the things that motivates me is a lot of it is personal. As you guys might know my story. I was almost killed in the line of duty in Mexico. My partner was killed next to me. So I understand firsthand those threats. And also, I'm not in agreement with the person that's there. Yes, this is a primary. Yes, the person that's there is of our own party, but has betrayed the people of CD23. And these are not my words. These are the words of the people that live there, the residents of CD23 that have told me they feel betrayed because of the actions that the incumbent has taken.
Right. So let me ask you, since you spend a lot of time on the border, you're running in that district, what are your feelings of why Biden is leaving the border wide open? What is the purpose of that, and why does he continue to do that? He's had many opportunities to visit the border as well as close the border. I mean, we hear awful stories from Border Patrol agents on what's happening on the ground. And now, you know, we were all down there last year. You know, you have Border Patrol agent working with the cartel just to ensure everybody's safety. What are your opinions on that?
I get this question a lot, and I think it really comes down to the big picture's ideology. They believe in a different system, not the same sovereign protection that I would see to protect the United States. And they see, and I make this argument all the time, they think it's humanitarian and compassionate to allow everyone from all over the world to come in. And I actually see it completely the opposite, that it actually would be humanitarian and compassionate to secure the border, because you would actually save lives. You would actually prevent women from being raped. You would prevent people from being extorted and beat up and all these things that happen to them in their journey that would not happen to them if they wouldn't come to this country, because they know that the invitation is there. But also fundamentally, I think the Biden administration is fundamentally changing the fabric of our country. And let me tell you how I come to that conclusion. I worked with a lot of illegal aliens and arrested a lot of them, and drugs and all this stuff in my career. And I've seen all types, but mostly back then, I would see that the illegal alien wanted to come to the United States, wanted to work, wanted to assimilate to this country, and they wanted to be US citizens. Well, I don't see that anymore. What I see now is people coming from Africa, from Nicaragua, from China, but they don't want to be Americans. They don't want to assimilate to this country. I wrote a book, and I purposely wrote that word in there because I use my parents as an own example. They came to this country legally, but they assimilated. They wanted to be Americans. They became Americans. They've been naturalized US citizens for over 40 years. And so that's the big difference. Now we have these individuals coming here, and they want their country of origin here inside the United States. And we know that they come from these countries that are broken, and well, you just can't have it that way. It doesn't function. And so when you don't assimilate to the communities, and I'm talking about realities of communities that you bump into them at the grocery store, at the gas station, you have no idea what their intentions are. And I could go through thousands of examples of public safety, of people in this country that have been suffered victims of crimes at the hands of people that are here illegally present. And I basically have had enough. I think we need some leadership in this role, and CD23 is ground zero for that.
Okay, so let's talk about the intentions, because you're seeing it there. And I want to bring this back to the America Project. You were there for an event at Mar-a-Lago on April 18th, so just last week. And you were there talking about the border security and disrupting what's happening there. So let's go into what you just mentioned, the intentions. What do you think the intentions of the border crossers are? And also, what are your plans of disrupting that? Because I know Tom Holman is very passionate about this project as well. And I'm curious, and this is just a personal question, why would you want to run for Congress versus working for Homeland Security or working with the new administration to stopping this?
Great questions. So first of all, the intentions, they're all types of intentions. So let me break it down a little bit really quick. You still have people, and I'm a realist, you still have good people that want to come into the country and want to have the fruits of the United States, right? But the entitlement that's attached to that is what's very different. Now it's like, I'm here to work hard. Sure, you still have some of those, but I'm talking in generalization. The majority are saying, well, I want the United States government to take care of me, because that's what they know from their country. I want shelter, I want education, I want healthcare, I want all these things. And we put our own citizens second to them. And I'm talking about the school system, the healthcare system, and of course the criminal justice systems that are being impacted in every part of our country. Now, I joined the America Project over a year ago. I guess going on 2 years, and I love this project because we go around educating people, letting them know exactly what's happening on the border. I get daily videos and my sources. I mean, yesterday I got a video of a crocodile eating an illegal alien at the river. I mean, this is horrific. We got cartel violence happening daily in Mexico. A lot of it has spilled to the United States. So I understand all that. And the America Project does that, tells these stories so people can open their eyes and say, listen, what's happening down here and what happens in Mexico is going to affect us, not just in the border states, but in every state. And so I always thought, listen, I wanted to be in a position where I could have an impact. And to your last question, because yes, I would love to be part of the administration. As a matter of fact, Tom and I would, I know Tom is coming back. I know he'll head something. And Tom has even mentioned, like, what would you do? Well, I would do good in any of these positions. But I think the bigger picture here is I always, in my service of government, I always saw the disconnect between Washington, D.C. and the field and the reality of what's happening. And it was so disheartening that some person was making these huge decisions in DC that affected law enforcement, affected agencies, affected people on the ground that had no idea what was going on. They had never even been there. And I always said, why isn't there someone like me that knows making these decisions? Well, I want to be that person. I want to be in a position where I can take these arguments. Not a lot of people from Congress, there's doctors, there's lawyers, there's all these people, but I don't see a lot of prior law enforcement congressmen or congresswomen that have done the job. And I've done the job from the ground up. And I want to be able to bring that message and say, no, you're wrong. This is really the way it is. This is the way it's happening. And I want to be able to change that. I want to change that process that we live through right now.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's jump into your candidacy and what you would do in your first year as a congressman in Washington. What do you want to do? Are you just going, first year, the freshman year is always quite tough, right? Everyone's just learning the ropes, but you seem like you're ready to, jump in and make some real, sweeping effects. So what do you think you're going to do in your very first year as a congressman?
The first thing I want is appointments in specific committees, the House Homeland Security Committee and the Intelligence Committee, for sure. The Judiciary, maybe. But those two, the Intelligence Committee and the House Committee, would be the ones where I would have a major impact because they would deal directly with the border. The Intelligence Committee, a lot of people don't understand, is so important because we're gathering the intel from all over the world, and a lot of that intel leads right back to the southern border. I'm talking about terrorism. I'm talking about the cartels. I'm talking about China, the fentanyl, everything else that's affecting us. And so I want to be able to be that expert on those committees to ask those right questions and to make these bills that, like, for example, right now, House Bill 29, that Chip Roy, it's there, but they keep on blocking it, and the incumbent of CD 23 continues to block this bill from being heard, which is absurd to me, because a lot of people at least understand that we have to start somewhere, and one of the ways you start is legislatively. Now, a big problem here, I'll tell you, it's policy driven, right? Everything that the Biden administration has been doing for the past 2.5 years is policy driven. It's not legislative. You don't have to invent new laws. If you really think about it, we have enough immigration laws, custom laws to secure the border, but it's the policies that need to be revisited. And so I would have that, direct communication with the Department of Homeland Security, obviously the right personnel, which would be very important, like keep the Mallorcas out of these type of positions where they continue to not be upfront with the American people.
Wow, that's great. How well do you think you will work with Speaker McCarthy? And follow-up question to that, well, how would you have voted for the debt ceiling bill yesterday that passed with Kevin McCarthy? What's your take on that?
Great questions. I talked to everyone, and this is, and I'm going to tell you something very frank. I'm unafraid. I lost a lot of fear in my life the day I almost died. I fear God and my dad. That's it. And I'm not afraid to talk to anyone. For some reason, I actually talked to Steve Scalise. I was in DC a couple of weeks ago, and I confronted him. And that's the word you want to use, but I did encounter him, and I did tell him that I was running. He is a big supporter of Tony Gonzalez, but I'm not afraid to talk to him. What are they going to tell me? No, you see, I've been through this. For some reason, there's this stigma. I will work obviously with Kevin McCarthy. I'll work with the left. As a matter of fact, please put me in front of them. I want to be put in front of the left and tell them the truth of what's happening and discredit their lies that they continue to say. Now, I'll give you an example. I go a lot on Fox News and Newsmax and do all these hits. I wish I was on CNN and on NBC. But they'll never invite me because I tell the truth. Wherever you put me in front, I don't change the story. I don't change it based on who's in front of me. I will tell you exactly how it is. So that alone, I'm willing to work with anyone. I'm a realist and I'm a logical person, and I understand negotiations. I did negotiations most of my second part of my life. The whole Mexico, every day was a negotiation. In Mexico, as corrupt as it is, you would have to negotiate every single little thing. So I know how to negotiate, and I think you have to have those negotiation skills to be successful. Now, the vote yesterday, I probably would have voted for it, and let me tell you why. I don't agree with it 100%. I know that it's flawed and it's not completely there, but at least it's a step forward to put the burden back on the Biden administration to make a decision. Somehow, they have washed their hands and blame the Republicans of everything. We needed to pass something to put it on their table for them to make a decision. And that goes with border security and these bills. Well, a lot of people say, well, you're going to pass these border. Let's say you pass this HB 29 Chip Roy's bill. Well, it's going to be, shot down in the Senate. Well, let the Republicans shoot it down. I want to see those decisions be made so we can make it public, so people can understand where the lines are drawn and what side are you on? Are you on the side of the cartels in Mexico, or are you on the side of the American people? But doing something, it's like my son is a big soccer player. I never told my son, hey, you better not play because you're not going to win. You have to go play the game to see if there's an opportunity, right? And you give it your all. Well, I want to give it my all. Sometimes the result might not be the good one, like the bill yesterday, like the debt ceiling vote. I don't agree with it 100%, but I think it was a way to move forward and start moving that needle to put the burden back on the Biden administration.
Wow. Well, we very much are looking forward to supporting you, Victor, and your run. I think you would be exactly what our government needs right now to push things forward, to make people understand, to open everyone's eyes, and to also put it to the administration in charge of saying, you can't just ignore this stuff. So no, we're just so proud that you're running and we're behind you all the way. We're very much looking forward to seeing, I think, what's going to be a very, very interesting campaign that you're going to be running. And we're just so happy that you're part of, common sense here in America. We got to bring that back. So thank you again. And again, we are very much looking forward to giving you our endorsement and all the good stuff that comes. So we want to, I think at some point we're going to pay a visit to you. So let's organize something like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Down, and perhaps you can give us a tour of what you're seeing down at the border as well.
Oh, I would love to show you down there. Eagle Pass. It shifts. I'm going to be in El Paso on Monday, and El Paso is a hot spot right now. There's a lot of things I've been talking to. I have sources in there that call me almost on a daily basis. It's out of control. This administration, I'll tell you something really quick. Not only are they doing this purposefully, I think you asked that, they're doing this on purpose, but also they really don't know how to do it. They're incompetent in other ways. And so that's a very deadly combination. You really don't know what you're doing. You think you know what you're doing. Believe me, I lived it. When people assume that they know what they're doing, it gets agents killed. And it's a very dangerous combination. And that's what's going on right now. And I talked to the agents on the line, and they are so concerned because they're letting people into this country that they would never let in. They personally would never. They're trying to vet this person and like, no, I wouldn't do it. Give me more time. I need to make phone calls. I need to do this, more computer checks. There's no time. You got to move them in. And it's putting our citizens at risk. And so that's El Paso. I'll be there next week, the whole week. Then, but we could go down to Eagle Pass, Del Rio area, very active. Right now, Brownsville is very active down in South Texas. So it shifts, right? The cartels are very good at shifting. They do that almost on a weekly basis. And so we need to shift on the US side as well.
Yeah, I hope you can apply pressure. Even as a citizen, I hope you can apply some sort of pressure. I know Veterans for Trump would be very supportive of any initiative that you want to put forward. We can help you roll out that effort if you'd like. Okay. And we should talk about that because right now we are at a critical point. And I agree with you. I think it is an ideology that is opening up all the gates, but at the same time, it's really crushing the American people, and we just don't see a real solution. At some point, it has to be some sort of citizen activism to get this thing shut down.
I agree. And I want to say thank you. I'm honored to have the endorsement. It means a lot to me. I'm going to say this, and I say this from my heart. I'm not a veteran, but I speak to a lot of veterans. I'm a big supporter of the men and women that served our country. But I've been and I've experienced what some soldiers experience, which is kind of a unique situation as a law enforcement agent in a foreign country. And it's a very unique. I have a lot of veterans that support me because, like, they tell me, Victor, you've seen battle. Yes, I have, and I've taken three bullets for it. But I identify. I definitely identify. I'm not a soldier, but I know the fight and the sacrifice, not just of the person, but of the family. And I go around the country and speaking, and boy, am I tell you, I get more response I talk about the aftermath, the PTSD, all the bad things that come afterwards, and the family and the real struggles of life after you go through an event like this. And that's what I get the most positive feedback, because people are like, thank you for saying it. And I'm a product of being like, I'm here. Yes, you can go through something and still be here. And because I'm very aware of the suicide rates, I'm very aware of our law enforcement and Border Patrol have the highest suicide rates right now than ever before. Our National Guardsmen that are down there, we've lost so many lives to suicide because of the stress and all that stuff. So all of that, I'm very aware. And you guys, I want you to understand, it means a lot to me. This endorsement is very personal, and I really thank you for it.
You're very welcome, and welcome to the Veterans for Trump family. And we will see you at the border. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Guys, have a great day.